First full time job, first salary. How do you manage your new income wisely? My next guest, Darius, is here to share his advice from having learned the hard way and now is successful at building wealth. He's going to share financial planning advice on building that wealth early in your career here on Early Career Unlocked. Welcome, Darius.
Thank you. Hello.
Well, I'm glad that you're here and you're going to share advice about a topic most people are really scared about talking about, especially early in their career, which is managing your new income wisely. So, before we jump into that topic, tell our viewers a little bit about who you are.
Yes, my name is Darius Smith. I work as a sales engineer. I call myself the failed entrepreneur, and that's because I thought I had to be an entrepreneur or start my own business to be able to build wealth. And I failed enough times to where I just decided to go through my career and build wealth that way. And I found out that you don't actually have to be an entrepreneur. You can work a regular job and be able to build wealth over time, especially if you start early.
I know you mentioned fail entrepreneur a minute ago, so I'm curious to find out more about how are you knowledgeable in this topic?
Yeah, so like many people probably listen to this, I graduated from college and started off my career. And I was making, my first salary was $57,000 as a software engineer. So that's really, really low. Within the first year of starting my career, I opened a business and I didn't do a great job of it. I accumulated up to, I think, $170,000 of debt between my wife and I.
Wow.
It was car loans that we got during college. It was student loans, obviously, that we got during college. We traveled a lot and put a lot of our travel expenses on credit cards. And then I opened up the business, which was a big portion of it as well. Over the last 3.5 years, I've not only paid down that debt significantly, but I've also invested quite a bit. And now I've gone from a negative $170,000 to a net worth of almost 100,000. We're about 70 to 90, changes so much with the economy and the stock market changing, but definitely turn that around. And I'm here to try to help other people not make the mistake that I made and to be able to start early and to not give themselves such a big hole.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. And from your credentials and from your knowledge, it sounds like you have a lot of good stories to share today, especially when it comes to offering advice. So, jumping into that portion of things, what three pieces of advice can you offer when it comes to managing your new salary wisely?
So number one, I would say the first thing that you should always make sure that you prioritize is paying off debt. For me and my wife, we before starting the business, we both had student loans, we both had cars, and we both had credit card debt that we need to pay off. If you can pay off all of your high interest debt, meaning any debt over 10%, which is going to be things like credit cards, if you can pay that off fast, then all of your money that you have will go towards either your living expenses or you can start investing with it. If you're in a situation like I was in where we had a bunch of debt, you'd have to start paying that off first. And that's taking away from the amount of money that you can invest and the time that you have to invest. I'll talk about investing in just a moment, but early investing is more important than the amount that you invest. If it's not more important, it's equally important. Let's talk about the second one, um, budgeting automatically. In Wealth is My Worth, which is the business that I run right now. Everything that I teach is strategically automation. So budgeting automation means that you use your direct deposits to put money in places that it's going to end up going. You don't give yourself access to this money. Let me tell you a little bit of a story and a little bit of an example. When you get paid right now, what happens to your money before you get access to it? Someone takes a little portion of it before they give it to you. Who's that? That's the government. The government makes sure they take a small portion of your money away to make sure that at the end of the year or at the beginning of the next year, you can pay taxes. And why do they take that money out? The reason that they take that money out is because they know that we're all generally bad with money. They know we're not going to save up that money. They know we're not going to be strategic or smart about it. And if you don't have the money when it's time, they're going to have a hassle of collecting that money from us. So they say instead of giving us this money and hoping that we give it back at the end of the year, they're going to just take it off the top and make sure that they prioritize getting their portion so that the money doesn't get lost. It doesn't get spent. We don't have any reason or excuse to not be able to pay. You need to do the exact same thing the government does. So the number one thing you can do with your 401k is once you sign up for that, that also gets taken out and you never forget to pay your 401k. You should do the exact same thing when it comes to obligations like your rent or your debt, paying off your debt, or any of the other obligations that you absolutely must pay every single month. Directly put the money for those things into an account. That way, the automation portion of this just happens. And then number three, going to be investing and investing early specifically. If you go onto Google and just type in investment calculator, you'll be able to see, just click the first link and you'll be able to see this calculator that'll tell you exactly how much you can invest over what amount of time, what returns, and what your numbers will look like. I kind of memorize these numbers because I talk about this stuff all the time. But if you go in there and you say the average return, which is 10%, and say over 30 years, let's just say you start investing at 25, you're going to be done at 55. If you do, let's say $500 a month. That means every paycheck you get, you can put $250, let's just say into a 401k or an IRA, whatever else you're going to invest in. When you turn 55, you'll have $1 million with just $500 a month or $250 per paycheck. $1 million seems like a huge amount of money, and everybody always dreams of being a millionaire. And you literally could do that with $250 per check. That's crazy, right? Like some people think that that's a lot of money, $500 a month. And if you're starting your career off right now, it might be one, you can definitely do it, but it might be a lot. But if you're 25 years old right now and you're making, let's just say, $60,000 a year, what do you think is going to be your salary when you're 35 years old, or when you're 40 years old, or when you're 45 years old? You'll have a much bigger salary to where you can be investing a lot more than 500 or more than $1,000. Just know that $500 a month on average throughout this 30-year term can get you to $1 million net worth. A lot of people are investing way earlier than that. A lot of people are investing more than that. You'll end up with a lot more. And this is just one example of how you can invest early and put yourself in a situation to be a millionaire without entrepreneurship, without doing anything crazy, but just working your job and putting $250 away every time you get paid.
Talking about managing your finances and building wealth can sound like a scary topic for some students, especially when they're transitioning into a full time role. But it is important to start your financial planning early. The advice you gave today is going to take away some of that unknown of how to get started. Three pieces of advice from Darius about managing your income wisely. One, pay off your debt. Two, don't budget manually. And three, invest early. Do you have anything else that you would like to offer to our viewers today?
Yes, so I do a workshop every single month at Wealth is My Worth. And is that you can find it at wealthismyworth.com and then find the workshop button. You can sign up for this workshop next month. In this workshop, we will be talking about financial independence. So basically, we will use the calculator that I just mentioned about investing and show you how you can take your salary and put in place a strategy for being able to retire, and in most cases, retire early, and you don't have to wait till you're 67 years old because that seems like a lifetime away when you're in your 20s. So definitely go on, meet me at one of these workshops, and you can get some one-on-one time that is offered in that workshop as well, if necessary. But just know that when you're first starting off your career, you are in the best place to be able to put yourself in the best position financially. And you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be scared. These things are very normal, and your feelings are very normal as well. You have people here that are ready and available to help you.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Darius, for being here and providing such great financial planning advice.
Of course, thank you for having me. I enjoyed the time.
And I will put the link that he mentioned earlier in the description below so you can click on it and join one of his workshops. I highly recommend it. And then to our viewers, subscribe for more career advice from industry experts every week here on Early Career Unlocked.